I did not expect to get this Wave 6 Slash figure before I got any of my Wave 5 TMNT Ultimates, but given how long it takes for these things to show up, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Pumped to have this figure. What do I think about it? Well, keep watching to find out on this episode of Geek Dad Life. Hello everybody and welcome to Geek Dad Life. It's your host, Jay Glatfelter here. All right, I did not expect to have this figure on my review table before I had my hands on Wave 5 of TMNT Ultimates from Super7, but here we are. For some reason, this Slash figure, which is in Wave 6 of TMNT Ultimates, was in stock on BBTS, so it's shipped, and my pre-order for Wave 5 still hasn't arrived at BBTS, so this is going to be a little bit out of order. We have this fantastic looking Slash figure here. We have his purple trapezoidal box. This is one of the bigger TMNT Ultimates boxes, so that lets us know that this Slash is going to be bigger than your average Ultimates figure. Now, I will say, taking off that upper sleeve, it does look fantastic in the box. It really pops. I much prefer the bad guy boxes, the purple boxes, to the good guy green boxes. I don't know, the purple just is cooler. I don't know, just bad guys have more fun. But yes, we have this Slash here. I also have a vintage Slash to compare it to, as well as some other of the Ultimates figures. And this thing definitely looks to be a big boy, a hefty boy. So let's not waste any more time and take this thing out of the box. Now, if you had any Ultimates figures before, you know what to expect here in terms of the packaging. You have two trays, essentially. You have the figure and all the main accessories on that front tray, and then you kind of have a back tray full of additional accessories. So let's get them out of these trays. All right, let's take a look at the figure, and it is impressive, no doubt about it. I've heard some critiques that the skin tone is too dark compared to the vintage Slash, and that is true when I've got them side by side here. But even still, I kind of like the darker wash here, or the darker plastic color. It makes it look more menacing. I'm also okay that they went with the pink belt here, or at least had some pink features to kind of give you both styles of his belt. There was famously variants with a pink belt as well as this black belt, and they give you a bit of both here, which I am cool with. But something that I noticed right in, not even taking it out of the package, the paint application here on the two skulls is incomplete. It didn't go all the way up to the top of the skull, which is a bit of a bummer. I would hope that with the price increase of $55 per figure, that simple issues like paint applications wouldn't be a problem. And, there's other places here and there, especially on the, spikes on his shell. A little bit of paint where it's kind of globbed on the paint. It doesn't have that crispness of detail that I know Super7 can do when they're kind of hitting their marks really well. And even the paint on the face, his teeth, it looks a little bit sprayed on. It's not the best paint application here for the head as well. Now, again, it's not a huge detractor to the figure. I still think the figure overall looks pretty good, but the overall paint application on the figure in hand is not great. I will say I really dig the alternate head that we're getting with this Slash. The one that, it's packaged with is, of the vintage style, which is how all of the TMNT Ultimates figures have been so far, just about. So I do like this alternate head. I'm gonna see what it looks like with it on. And okay, nope, I don't like it. Go back. It's not bad. But I think for me, maybe I'm just too. The reason I love the Super7 line is I'm so nostalgia driven from the vintage toys. It's kind of like what Motu Classics was like, and I like that that's the approach they've taken with TMNT Ultimates. Another critique of the Super7 Turtles figures is their inability to stand up. But I will say, standing up this Slash, he is pretty stable. He's standing up pretty good. He's kind of in a hunched over position. But I think in terms of structurally, that is good for this figure. It actually helps it stand upright, and it's pretty identical to the vintage figure in terms of, how this thing can stand up and be pretty solid without any issues of falling over. And again, you would hope with the increased prices, these types of things wouldn't be as much of an issue. It makes them more glaring when you're spending more money and are still having some of these issues that have been in the line since the beginning. Now let's take a look at the accessories. I'll start with the accessory tree just because it is so much fun. I love this hot pink. It is so late 80s, early 90s. I absolutely love it. It's what I love about the vintage figure. And it's super bright, and I really, really dig it, even though I won't ever use it. Maybe I'll find a way to compellingly display these, but I haven't figured that out yet. And then we talked already about the extra head sculpt. I think it looks pretty good, but like I said, on the figure, it just doesn't land for me, maybe for somebody else. And then let's look at his painted weapon accessories. I think they all look pretty good. Again, the silver is okay here. Again, the paint applications just aren't as crisp as some of the earlier waves here. Again, not the end of the world though. I think they still look really good. I like that it's, you know, painted over the pink plastic. I think it pops really well, especially with the black and the pink. His nunchucks look really good as well. So I like how they've, you know, the little ninja stars that are here on his belt and the grenades that are here on, you know, sculpted on the belt of the vintage slash are actual like separate weapons here. So, you know, you can add them to the belt, which I think is a ton of fun. And this wouldn't be a Super 7 release if it didn't have a bunch of hands. So let's check them out. We have some open hands, which, oh, that's very nice. We have some slightly closed hands to hold some weapons. And then we have some fist hands. So, you know, I most of these end up just sitting in a bin, never used. But I'm sure some people that like to change poses and stuff like that all the time enjoy having them, but I wouldn't mind if they cut back on those as well, if it maybe reduced the price a little bit. All right, so we've got all the weapons on the Slash. I will say now it is a little bit more unstable now that I've gotten all of those accessories on him, but still he seems to be standing up pretty well under his own strength. Again, this table is famously not very stable. But let's see what he looks like side by side with some other figures. Let's put him side by side here with the vintage Slash. And again, I think, you know, for the people that love this line because it gives you updated versions of the classic action figures, I think you're gonna be really happy with this Slash figure. Little minor gripes aside with the paint applications, I think overall it looks really good, especially when you look at it side by side with the vintage figure. All the little extra things they did by, you know, making the accessories that are sculpted on the belt actual separate accessories on his utility belt, I think is really cool. And even though the new Slash is darker than the vintage one, I really dig it though. I think it makes it more menacing. It makes it, again, like a more upscaled version of the vintage figure. Let's look at him side by side with the first ever turtle that I got, the first release Raphael. And you can see how much bigger it is side by side to this Slash, and I think that's a good thing. You know, the original one is much bulkier compared to the other turtles, but even more so, this one is bigger than the differences between the vintage figure and the regular turtles, and I think it's really cool here. I like that they went the extra mile to make this figure bigger. Let's see how he looks with some of the best in the line. I still think Muckman is the best, just in terms of sculpting, paint, everything that we got with him. You know, to me, that is the high standard mark here, even though the legs have gotten a little loosey-goosey from standing. God, was it been not a year, maybe 6, 8, 10 months, somewhere around there. But still, this is the high watermark in terms of what they can accomplish, and I think the Slash looks really good side by side with that very high watermark. Another favorite is Bebop, so let's bring him into the action as well. Again, yeah, I think this Slash looks really, really good next to him as well. But I think hopefully you can kind of see the differences here in terms of the paint application. This is a little bit too much silver. It's a little too bright. It's a little too much globbed on versus, say, with Bebop, his drill is a lot more subdued in terms of the silver paint. It looks a bit more matte. It makes it look a little bit more premium than the very bright silver paint applications that they used on this Slash. Now, it's not to say I don't ever want bright silver paint. There's a time and place when those are really good, but for me on weapons, it makes it look cheaper than it needs to be, and I think they did a better job here with the Bebop in that regard. Even though it's a lot less silver, I think the more subdued look does look better. All right, so final thoughts. This thing was $55 plus shipping from Big Bad Toy Store. I think that's a little pricey. I think the $45 mark was better for these, but if you do get it, I think you will be happy. I'm happy to have it in my collection, even if I think the price is a little bit too high for what I ended up getting. I'd like to thank the people that make this show possible, my patrons. You can find a full list of them right here. If you'd like to help this channel grow, become a patron today at patreon.com/geekdadlife. If you've enjoyed this video and want to watch more, check out this video. And until next time, hasta luego and goodbye.